Right now, someone in America is earning $7.25 an hour, the federal minimum wage, doing the math on whether they can afford groceries this week or make rent. Not both. One. And right now, someone else is pulling in $400,000 a year, staring at their bank account on that same Wednesday night, genuinely wondering why they still feel broke. Both of those situations are completely real. Today, we're walking through every single income level in America, from the federal minimum wage all the way to the top 1%, and showing you exactly what life looks like at each stage. Real numbers, real taxes, real take-home pay, and the real lifestyle each salary actually buys you in 2026. Because here's what nobody tells you. The income ladder in America isn't just about how much you earn. It's about what that income can actually do, and that depends on where you live, what you owe, and what the system quietly takes before the money ever hits your account. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see your own number very differently. Everything I'm about to walk you through is drawn from Federal Reserve data, the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey, Pew Research Center's Income Classification Framework, and the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies. These aren't opinions. These are the actual numbers that define American economic life in 2026. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1, $15,008 a year. The federal minimum wage floor. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. That number hasn't moved since 2009. If you work full-time 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, you gross $15,080 before a single dollar of tax. After federal income tax and payroll deductions, you're taking home roughly $13,900 a year. That's about $158 a month. Now let's talk about what that actually means. The average one-bedroom apartment in America now rents for over $1,500 a month in most metro areas. That is more than your entire monthly take-home pay. This is not a budgeting failure. This is a structural impossibility. According to the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, 83% of renter households earning below $30,000 are cost-burdened, spending more than 30% of their income on housing. For a staggering 55% of them, housing costs consume more than half of everything they earn. At the federal minimum wage, you are not choosing between saving and spending. You are choosing between which essential bill goes unpaid this month. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the Earned Income Tax Credit, and housing vouchers exist precisely because this wage was never designed to sustain a life. And the people living here aren't failing. They're surviving inside a system that was built with a floor too low to stand on. $40,000 a year. The working poor bracket, $40,000 a year, feels like a meaningful step up from minimum wage. And mathematically it is. After federal taxes, you're taking home roughly $33,000, about $2,750 a month. But here's the problem with $40,000 in America in 2026. You now earn too much to qualify for most public assistance programs, SNAP, Medicaid, housing vouchers, but not nearly enough to absorb the costs those programs were covering. This is the coverage gap that defines working-class life in America. According to the Consumer Expenditure Survey, households in the second income quintile, the working-class bracket, average $50,054 in annual expenditures. That means people at this income level are frequently spending more than they earn, floating the gap on credit. And childcare? If you have kids at this income level, childcare is consuming 9.4% of your gross earnings, well above the federal affordability benchmark of 7%. Research from the American Progress Institute shows that childcare costs at this bracket are pushing hundreds of thousands of families into a lower income quintile every single year. Not into poverty because of a crisis. Into poverty because of Tuesday, net worth at this level. Federal Reserve data puts the median at approximately $71,000, and a significant share of that is a used car and whatever equity exists in an older home. A $400 unexpected expense, a blown tire, an urgent care visit, a broken appliance, is enough to trigger a credit card cycle that takes months to escape. This is the tightrope, earning too much for help, not enough for stability. Before we move up the ladder, I need to stop here for a second, because we're about to cross into what most people consider comfortable income territory. And I want you to pay close attention to what actually changes and what doesn't, because the numbers are about to get more surprising, not less. Level 3, $60,000 a year. The median individual income, $60,000, is close to the median individual income in America. After federal taxes and standard deductions, you're taking home roughly $48,000 a year, about $4,000 a month. According to Pew Research, this puts you inside the lower edge of the solid middle class for most of the country. You are statistically doing better than roughly half of all American workers, and yet, The national baseline to enter the middle class for a standard 3-person household is $56,600, meaning at $60,000, a family of 3 is barely clearing the threshold, not comfortably inside it, barely over the line. Here's the geographic reality that shatters the $60,000 illusion. In Jackson, Mississippi, $60,000 puts you solidly in middle-class territory. In San Francisco, the entry point to the middle class is $66,700, and $60,000 leaves you technically classified as lower income by Pew's cost of living adjusted formula. Same paycheck, different economic universe. At $60,000, if you're intentional, keeping housing costs controlled, avoiding lifestyle creep, investing even modestly, you can start building momentum. The people who break out of this bracket aren't always the ones who get a massive raise. They're the ones who treat $60,000 like $45,000 and invest the gap. Level 4, $80,000 a year, comfortable everywhere, except where everyone wants to live, $80,000. After taxes, you're taking home somewhere around $62,000 to $65,000 depending on your state, and this is where state income tax becomes a serious conversation. In Texas, with no state income tax, $80,000 nets you significantly more than California, where state income tax at this level adds another 9.3% bite. 2 people, same job title, same federal salary, meaningfully different financial realities. At $80,000, you can rent a decent apartment on your own in most American cities. You can fund your 401k, you can build an emergency fund. You are earning more than roughly 70% of individual American earners. But here is the danger zone at this income level, lifestyle creep. This is exactly the bracket where people finance a new car, upgrade to a 1-bedroom with exposed brick, and start dining out 4 nights a week, and then wonder why their savings account looks exactly like it did at $55,000. The math is brutal and simple. The difference between spending like you make $80,000 and investing like you still make $60,000, roughly $15,000 to $20,000 a year, at a 7% average annual return grows to over $400,000 in 15 years. That $400,000 is the price of discipline, or the cost of ignoring it, $100,000 a year. The mythologized 6 figures for decades. 6 figures was the number, the line, the proof that you'd made it in America. Here's what $100,000 actually looks like in 2026. After federal taxes, you're clearing roughly $75,000 to $78,000. Around $6,300 a month before your state takes its share. In Texas, that's real money. In California or New York, your state income tax alone is another $6,000 to $9,000 off the top. Now layer in the housing reality. The median existing single-family home price in America as of early 2025 is $412,500. That is 5 times the median household income, far beyond the historical affordability benchmark of 3 times income. Under standard lending terms, the monthly mortgage payment on a median-priced home is $2,570, which requires a minimum household income of $126,700 to qualify comfortably. At $100,000, you don't meet that threshold alone. And if you're renting while you try to save a down payment, 49% of renter households earning between $45,000 and $74,999 are cost burdened. That number has jumped 9.5 percentage points since 2019. Student loans are the other silent income destroyer at this level. If you're carrying $50,000 to $100,000 in student debt, completely ordinary for anyone who pursued a professional degree, you're losing $400 to $800 a month to loan payments before you've bought a single grocery. The $100,000 dream isn't dead. But in 2026, it doesn't buy what it used to. What was once a wealth-building salary has become a comfortable survival salary in high-cost metros. Level 6, $150,000 a year, top 10%, real comfort, real tax $150,000. You have crossed into the top 10% of American earners. This is where the financial picture genuinely starts to shift, but also where the tax system starts hitting differently. After federal taxes, you're netting roughly $108,000 to $112,000 depending on deductions. Add state income tax in California, where the rate climbs past 9% at this income, and your take-home drops further. But at $150,000, several things become genuinely accessible that weren't before. You can max your 401k contribution $23,500 in 2026 and still have substantial monthly cash flow. You can build an emergency fund of 6 months' expenses without it taking a decade. You can begin investing in taxable brokerage accounts. Homeownership becomes viable in most markets outside of the coastal extremes. According to Federal Reserve data, Median net worth for households in the 60th to 80th income percentile is $307,200. That's real accumulated wealth, mostly in home equity, but increasingly in retirement accounts. The trap at this level is comparison. You're now socializing with people earning $250,000 and $400,000. Your $150,000 starts to feel small. It isn't. You're out-earning 90% of the country. Stay anchored. Top level 7, $250,000 a year. Top 5%, where tax strategy becomes essential, $250,000 a year. After federal taxes, you're taking home roughly $170,000 to $178,000. Your marginal federal rate is 35% on income above $231,250. Add Medicare surtax, state income taxes in high-cost states, and your effective rate on the top dollars you earn is approaching 50 cents on every additional dollar in places like California. At this income, you feel productive tax pressure for the first time. Salary deferral into pre-tax retirement accounts, HSA maximization, strategic charitable giving, and business structure decisions all start mattering in dollar amounts that justify serious attention. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, households in the 80th to 89th income percentile carry a median net worth of $747,000. That's asset velocity, wealth that begins to grow on its own through compound returns, home equity appreciation, and investment income. If you keep your housing costs under 25% of gross income at this level, a discipline that research shows is the single biggest differentiator between high earners who build lasting wealth and those who don't. You can reach what financial independence researchers call coast fire in your early to mid-30s. That means enough invested early enough that compounding alone carries you to a full retirement. No additional contributions required, allowing you to work on your own terms for the rest of your career. The danger at $250,000 is the same as at every level, just with more zeros, spending at the level of your income rather than your goals. Level 8, $400,000 a year. The top 1%, when time becomes the currency, $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 and above. This is where the questions change. Not can I afford this? The answer to that is almost always yes. The question becomes, is this worth my time and attention? After federal and state taxes at the highest brackets, someone earning $400,000 in California is clearing roughly $240,000 to $255,000 after all taxes, paying somewhere around $145,000 to $160,000 to federal and state governments combined. According to the Congressional Budget Office, families in the top 10% of the wealth distribution hold 60% of all national wealth, with the top 1% alone holding 27%. The median net worth for households in the top wealth decile is $2,556,200. At this level, wealth is no longer built through income alone. It's built through asset ownership, equity in private businesses, real estate holdings, stock portfolios that generate returns independent of whether you show up to work tomorrow. But here's the insight that surprises most people about this bracket. The research shows that at ages 30 to 34, even high earners pulling $250,000 or more have a median net worth of only $285,000. Because early career years are consumed by student debt, entry-level home purchases, and the expensive process of building a life. The acceleration happens in the 40s. By ages 40 to 44, the median net worth for this cohort jumps to approximately $850,000. The compounding finally arrives. The smartest people at this level aren't spending. They're converting active income into passive income, building something that lasts beyond their working years, because they understand that careers change, industries shift, and health doesn't ask permission. The real takeaway. So here's what this entire income ladder reveals when you look at it as one complete picture. America has structurally bifurcated into two economic realities. Researchers call it the worker class and the owner class. For the worker class, lower income, working class, and squeezed middle-class families. Daily life is a constant search for liquidity. Housing costs, childcare costs, energy costs. A $400 emergency that shouldn't define a life, but does. These families are running defensive financial plays just to hold their ground. For the owner class, affluent households with real estate equity, investment portfolios, and business ownership, inflation is largely an abstraction. Their assets rise with prices. Their wealth compounds while they sleep. And the gap between these two realities is not closing. Over the past 50 years, upper-income household medians grew 78% in real dollars. Lower-income medians grew only 55%. The distance between the top and bottom of this ladder is wider today than it was in 1970. But here is what the data also shows. And this is the part that actually matters for your life. Your income level matters, but your savings rate matters more. Someone earning $80,000 with a 50% savings rate will build more wealth over 20 years than someone earning $200,000 who spends every dollar as it arrives. The Federal Reserve data confirms this. The Consumer Expenditure Survey confirms this. The net worth brackets confirm this. The gap between where you are right now and where you want to be financially is not simply an income problem. It is a gap between what you earn and what you keep. And what you keep, you invest, and what you invest, you give time to compound. Wherever you sit on this ladder today, that gap is where financial freedom lives. If this reframed how you see your own number, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because next week we're going into the 5 financial decisions that determine which side of this ladder your kids will start on. That one is going to hit differently. See you there.